there, and welcome to Meltdown Moms. I am Meredith Gordon.
And I am April Pivoteau.
Welcome to the podcast. So we are two moms, right, living in Los Angeles under the bright lights of Hollywood. And we are sort of letting you in on what it's like when Hollywood moms get together and there's no rules and a few cocktails, and we chat about everything from Hollywood to parenting.
No holds barred.
No holds barred. So I am Meredith. I am a former actress and a recovered comic. I am a blogger. I write a humor blog called badsandy.com. You can find me there. I'm a full-time writer. I have a 8-year-old boy and a 5-year-old girl and a husband, and that's sort of my game.
And I'm April, and I'm also a writer. I am a parenting writer, a lifestyle writer, but mostly well known for my book, Gluten is My Bitch. And you can also find me at glutenismybitch.com. And I am April Pivoteau, P-E-V-E-T-A-U-X, also a mom, two
That's
kids.
right.
Most importantly, a mom, 2 kids, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, a girl and a boy. And we are transplants to LA. So I'm actually just kind of getting the hang of what the heck is going on, even though my husband does work in the industry, as they say. And we are very different Hollywood moms. So we're also here to show you how, hey, you can't paint us all with the same brush. We're all individuals here, but we love to, we're here to talk to you. We're here to hang out. We're here to hopefully introduce you to really other amazing people.
Yeah.
As well as have, drinks and fun.
So every week we'll have a fantastic Hollywood guest and hopefully give you access to great stories and show you that we are all unified by our journey of raising our kids.
And our fear of calls from the school about lice.
That's Well, we just got a call from the school that the teacher has chickenpox.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm just counting the 14 days till this house is just taken down.
Oh, great. Why am I here? Well, why we are here. Actually, we are.
Don't rub up on my children. And so our show we are part of the Meltdown Comics podcast network, and our show is produced by Mason Booker and Adam Silverstein. And anytime you want to find anything about us, you can either go to our blogs or go to meltcomics.com. There's no down on that melt. It's just meltcomics.com.
And it's a really fun comic book store and others in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, where you can go and get your comic on, or also a million other activities. So check out their website. And normally we record out of the studio, but tonight we are improvising.
We are in my living room.
Meredith's living room.
That's right. So if you hear ambient noise like a child screaming, I will ignore it. You can too.
I may not be able to ignore it.
My children are safe. They're fine. But any kid noise you hear, just know that they're fine and you don't need to pay attention to it. But we like to add that rustic authenticity to our show.
Yes, we do.
Maybe glamorous here in Hollywood, but our kids still scream for us. Which brings us to our first guest. We feel very fortunate to have on our first show, our theme is Celebrity Moms Are Just Like Us. And this is a real celebrity mom.
For real, you guys.
That's as real as it gets. Los Angeles is a one industry town, and anywhere you go, you can really see real life celebrities, and they always seem so unattainable. But once a celebrity becomes a mom, we are all unified by the fact that all our kids want to go to the park, the pediatrician, they don't want to run out of Pirate's booty. And so one thing that's clear living in Hollywood is celebrity mom or not, we are all the same. And so today we have asked a very special guest. She's about to star on The X-Files this Sunday night. I am pleased to call her a personal friend, and she's a fantastic actress. I sort of fell in love with her on Mystic Pizza, and
we all did. Let's be honest.
Totally, and always wanted more of her on The West Wing. So please welcome delightful, gorgeous, witty, charming actress Annabeth Gish.
Woo! Hello, yay!
Annabeth, thank you so much for being here.
I am so honored to be here on your inaugural podcast.
Yes.
This is exciting.
You're popping our podcast cherry.
Oh. That's very exciting, very scintillating. And I'm also happy that we're in a home environment because it is, it's past my bedtime.
Yes.
Usually I'm in my pajamas already on the couch.
We should have all worn our pajamas or sweatpants,
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Our onesies. That's how we should have. Our onesie. I do have a onesie.
I have to say, have you guys? No, I don't have a onesie, but I did see on some sort of coupon, like Groupon or something online, they have these new slippers that are called like mop slippers, and they're made of chenille. And
Yes.
they look like the thing that you clean your computer screen with, but you can wear them and then clean your floor simultaneously.
I got them for my
Amazing.
kids.
No way.
Yes,
I
both
want them.
kids.
I want
Both
them.
kids.
I want them.
There's
for-
also those Lego pickup slippers that like pick up the Legos.
What is that? Because I need that.
Yeah, I mean, you
Yes.
could break a toe on one
Yes.
one
Well,
Lego sword and you're down for a week.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Annabeth has 2 boys.
I do. I have 2 boys. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old.
So I'm guessing lots of Legos.
My house is overrun with Legos. Yes. I mean, I keep asking my husband, why do we keep having to buy these sets when we have bins and, of these pieces? But it's just the thing. And
They love to like look at the box and do it, and then they divide it up and it goes everywhere. And you're like, use your imagination. That's what Legos are for. And they're like, nope, there's another Harry Potter one. And
Right.
there's the bus.
Yes.
And I'm
And
gonna
we
get
have
it.
like
And
10 that are not from like 2 birthday party years ago that have not, but they still have eyes on the newest. And they're always
Yeah.
like maybe 2,000 to 20,000 pieces that somehow I end up like up all night.
yes.
Like, I want to finish this for them and show my love. And
Well,
then,
oh no.
But let's also talk about that because I did not grow up playing Legos. I was
a girl.
a girl, yes, which we shouldn't gender bias
No,
because
no.
there are now
My
pink
daughter
Legos,
likes- yeah.
right?
Yes.
They're pink now.
they can use the red and yellow too.
But I have to say, there's something very meditative
Totally.
and slit your wrist frustrating.
Yes.
But if you can get into the Zen, and I'm not talking like the architectural series, I'm talking just,
Yeah, there's something rewarding about seeing it done or like figuring out when they put that flip the thing over picture, but it's written in hieroglyphics and you're like,
Yes.
I figured it out.
yes, yes,
My
yes.
husband does that. My husband loves to sit down with our little boy and do it. It's like it's totally his way of relaxing.
Oh, believe me,
Yeah.
I had
Tell
to buy
bring him over here. I got a bunch.
for
Go relax with
Christmas
Meredith.
this year. I had to not only I bought literally 3 Lego sets, one for my husband, one for my son,
Aw.
and one for my other son, because they all,
Wow.
and they're very, again, like, have you done the cookie sheet thing
Yes.
No.
where you put all of the pieces on a cookie sheet? And my husband's father was in the military, so he has these kind of kitchen trays, that they used to, not canteen,
industrial
but
type?
well, they're like, there's the meatloaf.
Oh,
divot,
like a
and then
bento
there's
box, but like a military style
Yes.
bento box.
Yes, and
Yeah.
for Lego sets, they're genius.
Yes.
Oh, I never have heard this. This
I
is an
just-
excellent tip.
I just thought of something that we're now broadcasting live, but
Yes.
that would be a great, sort of an accessory for Lego building.
You should totally trademark that right now.
I should right now. It's mine.
Yeah,
My
it's
idea.
hers,
It's
Annabeth.
mine.
It's hers.
Annabeth Gish, the Lego tray.
2016.
The TV dinner tray for Legos is Annabeth's.
You just made your next million.
Right.
Suddenly we see her in
Congratulations.
like People magazine stealing hospital trays. Like, are you done with your pudding? I just want the tray. So Annabeth,
Yes.
can we talk a little X-Files? Because I feel like so you are just off Sons of Anarchy and
Yes.
The Bridge. You were doubling up 2 shows at a time, which is kind of amazing.
Amazing.
It was great.
X-Files is about to air.
Yep.
How are you dealing with the X-Files fans?
I have to say, for all of I think people have this perception of fandoms, whether there used to be the Trekkies or now X-Files or whatever. I have been so welcomed and so warmly received, and the X-Files fans are amazing. They're smart, they're loyal, and for as much as, yes, I did join the show late, and Doggett and Reyes were kind of the addendum to Scully and Mulder. For all of that, the people who have really been supportive have been that through and through. So my response has been, I feel loved.
It's nice. And who's more devoted, X-Files fans or West Wing fans?
Or Sons of Anarchy.
I don't think
Sons-
that.
yeah.
No, I would have to say it's either the Sons of Anarchy fans or the X-Files fans.
Yeah, the Sons of Anarchy people are hardcore.
Oh yes, hardcore, but again in that amazing. And I would be the first one to say, "Oh my God, I'm terrified," or "Nobody's
right.
been nice to me," or "I get hate mail" or anything. But I'm sure there
They're
are
thoughtful. They're
horrible things said about me somewhere. I don't want to know them, but
Not here, friend.
I'm not here. I'm selective.
Not in
right?
this living
I'm
room.
a selective narcissist.
Not at all. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I just find it so fascinating. My husband works for Fox, so I'm been very plugged in. But it's like this is one of the biggest television events in a really long time. It's huge, and I'm wondering like how much of that you're feeling as one of the the other half of that is like you came on almost to when Duchovny was leaving, right? So that was a little tricky, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say with this, the sort of the resurgence of this or the revival, I don't feel any pressure at all. None of it is on me.
Yeah.
I come in. I was so happy to be invited back. Robert Patrick, who I adore, my partner, was not able to come back because he's doing Scorpion and whatnot. But I come back. I'm sort of this wonderfully pivotal puzzle piece in the whole mythology that I can't talk about.
I know, I can't wait. I'm like getting excited.
But it's so exciting.
I don't even know, and my husband works there, and he's like, can't tell you anything.
I've only seen the first episode.
Here, Annabeth, have another margarita.
Okay, thank you.
Tell us more.
Yeah,
we know what we're doing.
You heard it here first.
Loose lips. I know the first episode and the last, and I think people are going to be really. It's wonderful. It's still that whole cult iconic mythology. I think it has a real relevance even now because, with social media and everything nowadays, conspiracy theories abound, right? And there's maybe justification for it, perhaps.
Oh, I love that. I personally, I can't wait. I'm very excited. And the other thing that I think has been so interesting, I mean, this role is a role that you're reprising. So it's not like this is all brand new, but with The Bridge and Sons of Anarchy and all the work that you're getting at this.
You mean the sluts that I played on
I was going to say badass. That was
like
the word I was
the term badass
thinking of. But I just like, it's so fun because, we did sort of like grow up alongside you and I know everyone loves you in Mystic Pizza, and that's what you think of when you think of Annabeth Gish, and you're also you're a badass, and it's so fun to watch, and it's so I would say refreshing. I feel like that sounds a little
well. I think what you're kind of talking about is something that we can all relate to as women in our 40s. Something about how as we grow, we realize how complicated we are.
Exactly.
And virginal and young and pure, like, Kat in Mystic Pizza was exactly all of those things. And so we got to together, and myself included on that ride, go there. And then, that's been the joy and the hell, I suppose, of growing up on screen and whatnot, is finding all of those different colors. I mean, I'm definitely not a badass in real life. I am a scared, like,
I don't think
worried.
so.
No, I am not a badass. I'm the first person who, if there's an emergency, I'm like, whoa, oh my God, panic, freak, whatever. Like, no, I am not a badass.
Would your kids agree, or would they be like, no, my mom is a badass?
No, they would not say I'm a badass.
I think it's worth noting. So you are married to your husband's a stuntman.
Yep.
He's like responsible for all those cool stunts in Salt and probably a gazillion other movies.
Yep.
And we're going to get to. I want to talk about like your schedules and how you manage that.
Okay.
But I would imagine it's pretty tough to be a badass in a house with him.
Yeah, I can't.
Like he's not scared. He's not scared of spiders, right?
Well, he does not like horror movies. I will say that. And he's not. I'm always the one. Enzo, my youngest son, doesn't want to kill spiders. I'm like, get them out of the house. I don't want them, because I am scared of spiders and centipedes and all those things. But for all of Wade's machismo, I guess, no, he's a softie about a lot of things. But
That's nice.
He still is definitely hands down the badass of the family.
All right.
So can we talk a little bit about, because you film a lot in Canada and probably a lot of other places, but I feel like I've chatted with you or texted you a lot when you're like, I'm in Canada right now. And all I can think of is she's alone in a hotel room and gets to hold the remote. I'm envious. But your husband also travels a lot and you have really busy schedules. I think it's always refreshing for other moms to hear the real deal of how a celebrity mom is doing it, because it's like when you see celebrity moms have a baby and they're like, I just lost all the weight from breastfeeding. And you're like, no, you didn't.
Right.
You didn't.
Right.
Because I didn't. So, I mean, unless you have a magic breast. You didn't.
Right, right.
So,
Magic
I mean,
boobs.
I guess I'd love to just chat about how you guys manage, because I think it's hard for any two-parent working
with
family to
two-parent
manage schedules, but
working
it's certainly
household, yeah.
hard when a lot of your jobs take you away and you're in a business where you don't necessarily want to turn down work. So how do you guys make those choices, and who doesn't get to pick their job when if it's at the same time, and do you have rules about that?
I don't think, I can't say, we don't have one of those sort of platitudes where it's like, if he's working, I'm not. Because we're not in that situation that either one of us can, like you said, can afford to turn down a job opportunity, both creatively and financially. But I have to say that I have made, and I'm not trying to sound righteous at all, but I had kids to have kids. I didn't have kids to have them as an accessory, and I really do take my mothering responsibilities as my priority. And that means it's messy all the time to try to juggle work and, really what it means is that I'm stressed out 99% of my day.
Right.
Because it's just, I care. I want to be there. We all care.
Yes.
And even if we're the executive who has to be at work from 9 to 5, we all still care. It's just how we manage how we're there. Go
And
ahead.
you've had, I'm just thinking of like all the things you've done in the past few years, and you have young kids. Like I'm just, my head is spinning. On my regular day, like it must be messy. I'm just sitting here thinking about your life and all the shows you've been in and how.
Well, whether it's literally like making on Brotherhood, we'd have to have a little pause button while I went and breastfed my son who was in the trailer, and that and or just and granted, for 2 years after my second son was born, I really didn't work that much, whether it was because I couldn't get arrested or I don't know.
Let's call it by choice.
I don't know. Maybe I couldn't lose the baby weight. I don't know. But
No, I feel like you never had baby weight.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I think that people should stop spinning it so perfectly. Like there is nothing easy about juggling motherhood, pregnancy, breastfeeding, parenting, right? Like now I'm not in the breastfeeding stage. Obviously I have two, young boys, but now I'm not just saving a life or feeding a life, I'm shaping a character. And that is
And doing homework.
And doing homework.
Making lunch boxes.
And trying not to melt down myself because, it's such a balancing act. And I find that it's so hard to just be present when I need to be present and not think about learning lines or, what I mean? I'm kind of Cash can read now and and I'm like, can you run lines with me? And then, but there's the fuck in the script. So they can't. No.
Can you read some of the lines? Skip page 5.
Exactly. And then it doesn't work that way. So
I feel like I saw a picture of you maybe last year on Instagram where you had brought both your boys to work because there was a day off of school and you didn't have help. Do you find that, and I think women in any profession feel like they have to sort of separate motherhood from their professional sort of persona. Do you find that you have to do that? Do you feel like being a celebrity and a mom is held against you? Or is it something you celebrate and it sort of adds to what you're doing?
Well, I think I don't consider myself a celebrity. I'm an actress, and I'm not saying that again righteously. I'm just not famous or rich enough to be a celebrity. I'm just an actress.
You are to us.
I work.
Yeah, I know, because
But
people.
but I do think that actresses get a much wider berth, BERTH, not BIRTH, because we have trailers and we have, we are in the makeup chair and people do our makeup and then we go to work, but then we have a break, and you know what I mean? So I think it's a little bit easier for us to bring our kids to work because there is that, it's not like we're in the office on,
with
on
a
the
baby and a
clock.
Bjorn.
Exactly. But that being said, it is still incredibly stressful to try to, especially as an actress when you're trying to be another character and then you have this kid who's saying, "Mommy, mommy, 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 mommy," and wait, but no, I'm Sheriff Jerry, No, I'm not mommy right now.
Like switch mode. Something you said earlier, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I know your oldest son is obviously getting to a different age. Like I like to call it the more complicated age.
Yes.
And when Anne-Marie Slaughter came out with her article and she was like, we can't have it all. I had to leave, my high powered job because I now have teenagers and things are getting complicated and I need to be there. And I found as well that things are getting complicated now at this threshold. And it does feel more like I'm needed to be really, really present, not just to feed someone and whatever. And I find that to be, almost more challenging than when my kids are babies. Are you finding this? Or?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was so much simpler in a very different way when all it was the nurturing, changing diapers, that stuff. It was the hardest because you didn't sleep and it was stressful and both of my kids were colicky, so I was
God.
awful.
It's horrible.
But yes, the again, I just go back to that, the shaping of a character. It is the responsibility feels so immense, although maybe it's just because of this whole helicopter parenting thing and what sometimes we're so over immersed in our kids that maybe that's why it's more complicated. My mom sometimes says to me, like, you were like a latchkey kid. You went home from school when you were 9 and
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But is that, and I don't mean like your childhood was bad, but I mean, is that a good thing? Is it just because our moms, I slept with glass bottles when I was a baby and my mom has a story about me waking up just sitting there in my crib surrounded by broken glass. And I'm like, but was that good? Like,
You survived.
did we want to aim for that?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right,
I know
right.
you all smoke and drank, but
Right.
I don't know if we want to
Recreate it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. Somewhere in
between
Yeah.
of helicoptering and being more relaxed.
Yes, God, if there's a formula for that, I wish.
Yeah, like a guilt-free. I'm doing it. I'm like knowing I'm doing it fantastically, or I'm doing it as well as I possibly can, and then just walking away.
So
Like,
how do
does
you
that
how
sound?
do you do you have any I'll give an example of myself. I have a rule that I never stick to, but it's a rule that I like when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. When I'm not, I'm not. And I don't look at screens while I'm with them. They can tell you 400 times just today alone that I've broken that. But
Yeah,
I
yes.
really try to have them
Yes.
just for me because my work is on the internet and I'm always sort of connected to it.
Distracted.
I don't want
or-
them to
yeah.
always see the top of my head buried
Yes.
in a phone.
Yes.
And I remember being a kid and my mom was always on the phone and I remember feeling like I was competing with the phone. So I don't want my kids to feel like they're
The
competing
same.
with Facebook. But
But they are.
They are, and I think the fact that we're even acknowledging it is the fact of it's true,
right.
for all of us. But the fact
So
that
how do you what are some of your tricks for not just as an actress but just as a mom who's a professional?
And busy.
Yeah, how do you deal?
Well,
Or is-
I mean, I am concerned about the whole I think it's important to unplug all of us. We have I wish I could say that we sit down for a meal every night and nobody, but that's usually, somebody comes in late and my husband and I might eat later. So it's not quite this system that I actually grew up with. Everybody had dinner at 5:00 or, and my mom, after teaching all day, would come home, cook dinner on top of having worked a full
Mhm.
day.
and cook a real dinner.
Yeah.
Like there was no roast chicken at the market for them to buy.
No, she would make food,
Yeah.
which, granted, sometimes we had salmon patties and things
Right. Yeah, there was the freezer in
Yes.
our when we were kids. There was a lot of freezer.
Yes. But during the school year, during school time, we don't have screens at all during the week.
Mhm.
We have, they have screen time during the weekend.
Does that apply to parents?
No,
It's hard,
Mhm.
right?
it's very hard. I mean, but I agree with you. When we're all together, I try to put my phone away. Again, it's because, we're addicted
Yeah.
as a culture.
And sometimes there are real things that you have to attend to,
Yes.
but often it's.
But it is a very different, it's, like you're saying, you felt like your mother was, you're competing with her with the phone, but was she working or was she like talking to her friends instead of talking to you? Like where I feel like Oh, not that, you know what? Our kids don't know the difference. My kid doesn't know if I'm working when I'm on.
If you're
on-
getting a
or,
job
or
or
if
what-
I'm,
right,
if
right,
I'm
right.
emailing a friend. That's true. Never mind. I
Right.
had this great idea and it doesn't work. Never mind.
I think for the most part, we're doing great jobs. I think we should probably let ourselves off the hook
Right.
because where everyone is culturally is, again, like it's messy. It's just a crazy time. And I think, but again, like I will say this, I enrolled my kids in a meditation class,
That's great.
which I mean, kicking and screaming. My older son was like, if there's any singing, Mom, I will not participate. If I have to say Om Namah Shivaya, I am not participating. But at least he knows what Om Namah
I know,
Shivaya
I'm
means.
impressed.
This is so funny because this is such an LA thing, and like moving to LA, I'm like, oh, it's so LA. But like, I have been getting my kids to meditate too, and it's
Yeah.
so I feel like, oh, this is so LA, but it's so good. It's so good at getting them just like chilled out
Slow down.
and slowed down.
It doesn't ever work in the middle of the lightsaber fight when
No.
someone's toe is smashed and, it's like, breathe. No, you
Yeah.
know?
No, but I feel like it does help them learn.
Somehow
how to
it
calm.
informs them. It's like muscle memory.
I know.
At least they're being exposed to something that is supposedly therapeutic.
Yes.
Yes,
You know.
Yes, I know.
So, whenever I see pictures of actors or actresses like getting ready, like they'll show their Instagram photos after the award show. Whenever I see the parents, I'm always like, what did we not see in this photo?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
were J-Lo's kids putting jelly on her dress? And like, because even no matter how many nannies someone has or whatever,
Yes.
you still like prep for an award show. I assume it's like a whole day activity. You're probably not going
Is
to.
it a whole day?
It's like for example, the X-Files premiere last Tuesday night, I started getting ready at 3 for like a 6 o'clock pickup.
Okay,
So
that's
I would just love to
that's-
hear like what are
Yeah,
those
tell
3
us.
hours like, and you know what I mean, like because that's your older son at least, or both of them probably at
Yeah.
homework, and
Yep.
someone needs to eat, and someone had soccer, or
Yeah.
what's that prep like?
Well, it's again, my word of the night apparently seems to be very messy. Things were messy, but again, that's where help comes in. We don't have a full-time nanny. We we used to when both Wade and I were working full-time, but now we're not. So we're single-handedly raising our kids, but we have very trusted babysitters. So in something like that, Wade went to pick up the kids while I was getting my hair done. And it's so ridiculously bogus, right? Like your kids come home and they're like, why is that guy doing your hair?
exactly.
And like,
Like,
you're like,
don't
"Why?"
you know
bring you
I'm
right down.
I'm glamorous right now?
And then why are they gluing stupid fake eyelashes to your eyelashes, Mom? Like, what is
Weird,
that?
Mom.
You look weird.
You're like, wow, I'm humbled. Thank you.
Right. And I had a little friend's daughter who happened to be over, and she was like, you look like a witch.
Like, thank you. I'm gonna go out
Thank
with the
you.
photographers now.
But the worst is when you do, especially if, say, for example, Gucci has loaned you a dress or a jumper, and you are very concerned about not ruining it in any capacity. And then your
Oh.
son wants to, with his grape jelly
Ugh.
hands or his tomato sauce hands, wants to come and hug you. And you're like, no, don't. Yeah.
You're like, you don't want to be unloving, but you're like,
It's-
this is Gucci.
You're like, please don't. You can I give you a faraway hug? That's like that's
Head
the
pat.
that's the worst parenting moment when you're like, I'm a schmuck. I'm a total schmuck of a mother because I'm like, don't touch the outfit.
Don't ruin the loaning dress.
Like, priorities tonight. Just-
You jelly
just for
it,
today.
I buy it.
Yes.
Do not touch. Step
Exactly.
away from me.
Right, exactly.
But I love you madly.
I love you, but just don't touch me.
Don't get
But
near
let's
me.
hug another day.
Right.
So that's kind of a relief to know that,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not. I mean, I think the ideal would be to go away to a hotel and
Right.
have just people, and then, but again,
I mean, I would like that too, and I'm not an
I
actress.
know.
So,
Yeah,
but, you
yeah,
know, I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'll
can I-
nominate
just
you
for
for
date
something,
night?
just you
yeah,
can go
I
somewhere.
just go away for an hour
But
before?
the
Yeah.
other thing, can I be honest? Like, it's annoying to have people touching your face and your hair all the time. It
Yeah?
really is.
Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes, I mean, I have, like my ass gets tired of sitting in a chair,
I thought you were going to say your ass is tired of getting touched. I'm like,
I know,
what
it's
kind of
like,
makeup are you getting?
what show were you on? I haven't seen that one, Annabeth.
Let's see. Okay.
Annabeth's career takes a turn.
Well, speaking of
Yeah,
which,
that's
yes.
so I have known you a long time, and I have noticed that with each birthday you have, you get more work. And I would say that is not probably that's not what I think of as the norm in Hollywood for women. So are you a person that's just blossomed with time, or is the climate changing?
Yes and yes.
So I think I know I would love to hear about that, because I mean you are kind of killing it, and
Yeah.
and you should be, by the way, because you're fabulous
Thank you.
and talented.
That's nice.
And,
Come home with me and crawl into my brain at 2 a.m. when I'm stressed about everything under the sun, and
but you are like, you are on 2 series at once. Like, I don't remember the last time that happened since Heather Locklear
Yeah.
and TJ Hooker
Oh, nice. Ooh, good reference.
and Dynasty.
Excellent.
I can't remember where my
Nice.
kids' shoes are, but I can remember
That is a good one.
stupid ass
That is a good one.
references.
That's right.
But yeah, so are you sort of the barometer for women in Hollywood, or are you
Oh, God,
talented
no.
and lucky?
I lucky, yes. But I think there's something to be said, and women, we don't, because there seems to be a measuring stick, that we forget about just enduring. There's something really, just staying, remaining. It's not about relevance. It's not about, like, as long as we just stop, look, I don't need to make trillions of dollars. I don't need to have a mansion. I don't want one. What I do want is to have some creative fulfillment, along with a happy life with healthy children and a good marriage, right? And all of that is fucking hard.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
like, if you get those things, you're lucky. And I know a lot of famous, successful female actresses and moms whose lives have fallen apart, right? Their marriages haven't lasted. So for all of us, there's just always, it's just about balance, and you never know. All it is about trying to stay grounded. I think it is a great time for women in Hollywood. Maybe not, if you look at the Oscars and stuff these days, the whole, we're
Directors
so
and, yeah.
white and everything, and
Yeah.
it's true. But I do think for, ageism for women in Hollywood has changed. I don't think, maybe there's the equality of pay and all that. But again, women in their 40s are kind of rocking television right now, and not features, but cable TV especially.
Totally.
So
is there an X-Files spinoff for you?
Whoa.
Who do we need to talk to?
Yes, how
not
can we make that happen?
not for me. No,
But for someone else.
Ooh.
maybe. I think so. I
Ooh.
think
Are
they're.
we getting
they're-
spoilers
We're
here?
getting
Yes,
some scoop.
you're getting some
We're
scoop.
really on the
Scooby-Doo.
inside.
Excellent. Well, the other part of this too is so interesting that, when you began your career and you were focused on, well, I don't know what you were focused on. We saw you in films. I'll just
Yes.
say, I don't know what you were,
Yeah.
but it was all about film, and it was all about getting the film roles, and television has expanded so much that's where
That's
the
where
really
the good stuff
juicy roles
is.
are.
Absolutely.
And is that true? Do you find that to be across the board, that you're finding more scripts that are interesting that for television than for film? Is it?
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. I think that's for women, cable television, especially network television too, but predominantly cable, because you don't have to have such pretty packages of characters, right? You can have complicated, flawed, messed up women, which seems to be my specialty these days.
You're doing amazing at that.
You're doing amazing.
I went from being like wholesome girl next door to, complicated. And again,
How fun,
which
though.
is so great.
Yeah.
So great. Yeah.
So have your kids seen anything that you've done?
I did do an American Girl doll movie called Chrissa Stand Strong.
I missed that, but I'm gonna go.
My
Netflix
5-year-old
it?
is, I'm sure, seen it
It's
because she's obsessed.
Yes. And, this is a good point too. My 7-year-old son, we've had lots of conversations about, is it okay if a boy can like dolls, right? And yes, absolutely. There's a great book too I think it's called William Has a Doll or something. It's right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of sort of letting your male child say, absolutely, if you have a nurturing side and it's okay for you can play Legos and you can do all of these things. But
And girls can.
And girls can make guns out of sticks as well.
Right.
You know, there's no set thing.
It's like free to be you and me.
Exactly.
Free to play with whatever I want as long as it's not creepy.
Exactly. Right.
Just came out wrong.
Okay. Right.
I was there. I was feminist, and then I was dirty.
Understand.
Yeah.
It went up and it went down.
Right. It's okay. That's life.
It's my day. Messy.
Yeah. Messy.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. What was the?
Will they be able to watch X-Files? Because I'm thinking Sons of Anarchy, no, but like X-Files.
Definitely not Sons.
Not Brotherhood.
Definitely
not Brotherhood.
or The Bridge is
Not
even
The
way
Bridge.
too dark.
I'm trying. No, I mean they really haven't.
West Wing syndication.
I did a movie called Race to Space and then I have a horror movie coming out which they absolutely will not be able to watch.
Yeah.
And their dad won't want to.
No,
he's
neither
terrified.
will wait. He'll run from the room.
Like, everybody leave. You go to that premiere by yourself. There's
He's
Like,
Yes.
I
for
can
babysitter.
kick ass, but I'm going to cry while I...
He will not go to that premiere with me. Absolutely
Really?
not. He'll be like, nope.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, he hates horror movies.
If we see you on the red carpet with a buddy, we'll know that your husband's at home.
You can come with me,
I'll
Meredith.
come with you.
Okay, good.
I'm terrified, but I'll just close
Okay.
my eyes and act cool.
Good.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But I think that they will, I know at the Grove this Sunday or Saturday before the show airs, there's going to be a fake UFO. They're doing this sort of a thing.
Oh, I love it.
And so they want to go and we'll go and see that. And they're curious about the X-Files. So I think maybe we'll watch. Yes, I think we'll carefully.
Yeah, a little intro watch. I think because my daughter's 9 as your son is, and I think we're going to let her explore it and see, like, are you too freaked out? Do you need to go to the other room?
Do you wake me up at night afterwards? Because that's the metric for like.
Right, that's true.
If I don't sleep because you watch this,
I
you're
know.
going back to watching Ninja Go.
I know.
That's it.
No more,
You want to talk about something frivolous?
Yes.
Okay, so
like my chipped nail
I'm
polish that
impressed.
looks like
I'm
hoe nails.
dazzled. No, I'm dazzled. So just so everyone knows, we're sitting in my living room right now drinking wine and margaritas.
Mhm.
It's probably 10 at night on a Thursday, and we are not dressed like celebrities. That is for sure. We are
I
just
am.
ourselves.
I don't
I'm
think I
not.
have any makeup on either. I mean, well, I might have put some cover up because I'm.
But
you know.
Annabeth is rocking an amazing pair of silver tennis shoes.
Oh yes,
Yes.
they're my favorite.
Yes.
They're Golden Goose.
I didn't know if you wanted me to say
Like
that. 'cause
name dropping?
well, just because then someone's going to Google it and know that you're rich.
My husband. Oh no! My husband does not know how much they cost.
He can never
Oh,
know.
your
It was
husband cannot listen to
one of
this.
those like, can you hide the credit card statement at the?
Or can I pay for half in cash so that
Exactly.
because then it still is kind of assholey numbers, but at least
Totally.
it's like
Totally.
this is how I roll, April. This is
Yes.
This is how I shop. is
Yes.
Gotcha.
Like my
But-
mother hiding clothes in the trunk.
But I will say, I think we all do that.
My husband's like looking at the statements every day, and he's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "We went to Salt and Straw. We got ice cream.
Right.
Get off
For
my back."
$600 at Barney's.
Well, they are I know some people who have like 12 pair of those
I do
shoes.
too, and
I
I envy
have
them.
one. I only have one.
I have zero.
Those,
But
Although-
those are some nice looking shoes.
Have you guys heard of The Real Real,
no.
which is a
No.
website, or Ukes?
Oh, is this the one? The Real Real is where they sell your stuff?
You can buy consignment. So, for example, for the Golden Globe parties that I just went to, I got this amazing dress that I just went online and I was like, what am I going to wear for the Golden Globe parties? And I got it on like
nice
it was
consignment.
yeah,
You heard it here first. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly.
I love
That's
that.
Celebrities really are just
Love
like
it.
us.
That's
They
called
are.
budget shopping.
Well,
That is
you have
a-
to go to a
yeah.
lot of events, and I think the misnomer is that if you're on a show,
I don't really. I'm such a homebody.
but I mean, I
Yeah.
think people think that everybody's getting gifted dresses all the time, and sometimes you probably are, and sometimes and you're not going to repeat an outfit, so it's a lot of new stuff.
Have you repeated an outfit?
I repeat my shoes all the time. I even though I'm a Pisces and I freaking love shoes. I love shoes.
Is that a Pisces thing?
Your feet.
Oh,
yes,
because I'm a
definitely.
shoe
Yeah.
person and a
Are you a
Pisces.
Pisces?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
And I
Okay,
have,
there we go.
You know,
When's your birthday?
March 7th.
I'm March 13th.
Oh,
Yes,
my
I
brother's
didn't.
birthday.
Justin's March 3rd.
Oh,
My kids
Pisces.
might not go to college because of what's in my closet.
Right,
There's
right,
There's
right.
a chance there.
Well, I think if you're someone like uber A-list, like Jennifer Lawrence or Julianne Moore or whatever, like amazing,
They're not buying anything.
they're not buying anything.
And not on-
maybe they are.
right.
I don't know. I don't know.
I love that Bryce Dallas Howard quote where she bought her she got her dresses like for the Golden
the rack,
Globes or
yeah.
on the rack
Yeah,
online.
yeah, that's
Teaching your
exactly.
children very good.
But she did
Yeah.
say, she's like, the dresses that are out there aren't made for size 6s. And I'm like, are you saying size 6 is big? Because
Oh, you know what is a horrifying experience when you go to some sort of place, and I won't name names, and sample sizes are freaking zeros,
yeah.
and you know, I'm not a zero. No way.
I'm surprised you're not a 0.
I am not a 0.
For those listening, Annabeth is
smoking.
No.
Yes.
I'm 5'8.5", and I'm 125 to 130 pounds.
No, you're.
Wow,
I think
you're
you
tall.
need to check your scale, but
No.
Right.
So
But
will you talk a little
yeah.
bit about because that what I was going for in my frivolous question was I've noticed over the years your career has gotten better and your bod has too.
Oh.
So and I think that people are really interested in how sort of actors do it. Are they at Pilates 4 hours a day, or
Are you totally depriving yourself of
Is it-
everything
oh,
that's
God,
good and
no.
holy?
or is it just luck? But I think
No.
can we just talk about how the magic happens?
I kind of will go on a spiritual tangent because I do think that something about 2 pregnancies, breastfeeding, relaxes a woman in hopefully about their body. At least it did for me. It was very healing for me to watch what my body could do. And I also just, I don't know. I find women who are curvy and not perfect are far more interesting to watch, frankly, and there's no stigma against skinny models either. I'm just saying, to each his own. I'm not uptight about I do a lot of yoga. And then I love doing bar method or barbell and sort of bar classes. So, but fitness for me is more of almost like a mind, like just to keep myself sane, the endorphins and all of that. But I never exercise more than probably 5 hours a week, an hour. I don't exercise every day. Granted, if I am going to have to take off my clothes on screen, then I will push it a little bit.
Yeah.
But
you're not. You're much less sort of focused on it than you were when you were younger.
yeah, absolutely. And even then, focusing on it really didn't change much, right? I mean, I am getting a little. I keep seeing all of these women, and I noticed it. We were in Hawaii. And I was wearing a bikini when my sons were like, what my older son was like, Mom, why is that woman's why are her boobs so high?
You're like, because they're brand new.
And meanwhile, I'm like, does that mean mine are saggy?
Low?
But yeah, I guess it does. And so I kind of every once in a while, I'm like, damn, but I'm not a fake boob girl. I have, real
Everything.
boobs, and I love them. But every once in a while, you kind of are you start to think, oh gosh,
yeah.
is something should I change? But no. I really do believe in the boob, the real boob.
Yeah, you did not. I mean, you did not grow up in LA. Did you move here when you were fairly young? But
I didn't come out here until I was out of college.
Out of college, so
Yeah.
not that young. So how do you something that I think about a lot, and I'm assuming you do too, or about raising our kids in LA and sort of this environment where there is so much, to look at and to compare and all of
Yes.
these things. And how do you have? I mean, it sounds like you already are pretty down
Grounded.
to earth and grounded. Yeah, with your kids.
I'm in the salt.
Normal, freaking salt
Yeah.
of the earth. But is there, especially? Well, maybe this is what I'll ask you. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
Raising in LA.
Yes.
how is there something you could tell me, like, this is what you should do and this is how you should think, or this, who's also very interested in acting and what's going on in LA and everything, and I feel very,
protective,
Mama
or
bear.
Mama Bear,
concerned.
and like, yeah, a little bit like, should I just go back to Oklahoma right now, like before she
Right.
turns 12, like get back
Right.
there,
Well, I mean, I think I understand that impulse, but at the same time, I would urge you to say stay and advocate for self-esteem and for education and for art rather than the superficial stuff, right? Because all of that, I mean, I think even my kids, when there are conversations at home about, if there's already an awareness, I think we can keep our kids' heads on straight.
Yeah.
Is that proper grammar? Our kids'
keep our
heads on
heads
straight.
on-
Yes. That seemed like a lot of S's,
Yeah.
plurals. But yeah, I mean, I do think for young women in this town, but how is it not even hard in Oklahoma? Because social media means everything is there.
That's right. You have access to all.
know? So I don't think it's different anywhere. You know?
Yeah.
There are plastic surgeons in every state.
We're all just one surgeon away from being a Kardashian.
Very true. It's very true. Yeah, it does. It is, I think, almost more of the, like, the parent guilt again of like thinking like, oh, I should be doing something because they're surrounded by all of this, and we've got to be, maybe more overthinking.
I just have to believe that at the end of the day, as long as we have communication, and I'm a big advocate also of saying I'm sorry. Sometimes if I'm not a doormat for my kids, but I also think it's important to say, you know what, mommy yelled. I'm sorry. I
think it's real. I know the times when like I've, transgressed as a mother and
or melted down,
lost my shit,
yes.
or and it happens. My kids seem so relieved when I apologize.
Yeah.
And for all I know, that's the thing that will send them to therapy later, because something will. But I feel like it's also like, it's such a relief to not have to be perfect and to show them that they don't either. And
absolutely.
And that things are repairable. But like, I think it's also moms, we never show our feelings to our kids.
Right.
And sometimes I'm having a bad freaking day. Like yesterday, my kids were like I've had a week, and they were like, why does your face look like that? I'm like, well, first of all, it's the only one I have. And second of all, I'm like, some days you just don't wake up feeling good. I didn't wake up feeling good today. And they were like, oh. And then there was a whole conversation about, this one didn't
maybe teaching a little empathy along the way.
And also just like, I feel like I want to let them off the hook from having to be emotionless. Yeah. But also I can't always be in a good mood.
Yeah.
No way.
And I think especially moms are like, how many of us have ever seen our mom cry or, have a bad day or just not know the answer?
On the drive, from school to home today, when the traffic was a nightmare and I couldn't get into Highland to get up to the 101, and I finally had to nail it, and I hit a curb, and I'm like, no, I'm going to have a flat tire. And I was like, damn it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you guys. And they're like, it's okay, mommy. It's okay. That was warranted. I don't think warranted, but they were like, oh yeah, you should have. Like, you should have.
Right.
It was so fun.
And that we're not like these
superheroes.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like we call upon ourselves.
I do think, I think that you kind of nailed it, that it's more about us, what we're thinking and telling ourselves than like.
Even my husband says that to me sometimes. He's like, damn, you need to let yourself off the hook. Yeah. Like, you are so hard on yourself about things that you don't, and I think just sort of universally, I mean, none of us are, crackheads and,
Well, speak for yourself. Pardon me, everyone. It's been a long day. I would light my hair. I think I smoked a cigarette once in high school and it was backwards. Like, I'm not the person.
Right.
It's not even that I'm above having an addiction. I'm just so clumsy that it would be, I would snort cocaine.
She's
and
totally hiding her crack problem right now. I'm just saying. Good. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could snort salt and be like, oh,
right.
Hi. I don't, it's
here's an interesting tidbit. In Brotherhood, a show that was on Showtime, my character snorted cocaine, right? You know what they use for prop cocaine?
No.
Baby aspirin.
Oh.
Wait.
All mushed up.
How did that? Did you actually? You didn't have to snort
Well,
that.
what's odd is that it sort of has a laxative effect.
Oh boy. So you're like, woo! I'll be back. In
Anyone
3
get the New York
hours.
Times? I gotta
3
run.
hours. You see, celebrity moms are just like us.
Everyone gets the shits.
Everybody gets the shits. It happens to the best of us. I love it. I love it. On that note, are we?
On that note, so Annabeth, something we do, or we're going to be doing every week, is we talk about sort of a mom in the news, and we call it our Meltdown Mom. And it can be a mom who did a really good thing, or a mom who did a less than stellar thing. And so
Either or.
and sometimes the same. So
Yes.
I wanted to bring up, it's actually our Meltdown Mom also is a Meltdown Dad as well. Not the same person, but they're a couple. Joan and Craig Wilson of Snohomish, Washington. They the
Sounds
backstory,
like a nice place.
yeah. The backstory is in Houston, Texas. There was a city ordinance that was repealed that basically protected LGBT teens, and the ordinance last November was repealed. And Joan and Craig Wilson of Snohomish, Washington.
It just sounds like a nice fluffy bed.
Their son, 17-year-old son, had come out to them.
Right.
And so they took an ad out in the celebrations section of the Houston Chronicle. And the celebrations section is normally the,
Weddings
births,
and-
weddings,
yes.
the
Anniversaries.
celebrations. They took an ad out basically announcing their son had come out. And
Wow.
and basically said they were celebrating.
That's amazing.
Love it.
It's amazing.
Love it.
And
It's like not only helping their kid, but it's like, helping a community at large.
they
Right
said they
on.
did it because they wanted to show teens in that city that they could be celebrated.
Wow.
And so I thought that was
Yeah.
a worthy. I mean, we're so quick to pick on. There's so many parents in the news that get the bad story, or the mom that forgets her kid in the
There's a
car.
lot.
But like,
God, that's amazing.
and I was just impressed because that's not easy to do, and that's going to show their kid, but also so many
Yeah,
kids.
no,
and
it's like a huge,
parents.
it's a huge, like, I mean, worldwide, nationwide. I'm not sure where we found this information, so I'm not sure how many people are reading this, but it's like a huge effect. Like, it's a big ripple effect. It's really positive.
Did they move to Snohomish
No, they
after
just-
Houston?
no.
Yeah, they're like,
After
"Get that
they
one
made
out
the
of here."
announcement.
I love that you got that right on the first time, and
They're
I
like,
was reading it.
Wait, there's the announcement and goodbye.
No, they picked that paper specifically because that
of what
ordinance
Houston
had
had
been
done.
repealed.
Oh my God, they deserve. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a
They are
major
the
shout
Meltdown
out.
parents of the week.
Yeah.
Way to go. And their name,
Should we
Joan
snap
and...
or clap or do something.
Yeah.
I like the snap.
I like the snap.
Send them an I
I want to like celebrate them. That's amazing.
Joan and Craig Wilson
Wilson.
of
So-
Snohomish,
Yeah,
Washington.
so you can be a Meltdown mom and it be a good thing.
Right on. I
Yes.
like it.
So Annabeth, thank you.
Thank you
so much. It was
This
so
was
lovely
fun.
meeting
I
you
kind
and
of want to
talking
talk to you for hours and hours more. Hopefully you'll come back when things,
when we can talk more about the X-Files, because,
yes.
When there's
when
more
your spinoff happens, or
the next big
Other
thing.
scandalous,
other top secret
topics.
things.
Good one.
Right.
Yeah, right on. Great. Thank you. Thank you
so-
so much. And we are Meredith, we are April. We are lucky to have Annabeth Gish here with our inaugural episode, brought to you by Meltdown Comics.
You can find and anything you want to know about Meltdown Comics is at meltcomics.com. And this show is produced by the fabulous Mason Booker and Adam Silverstein. Thanks to Meltdown Comics. Thank you, April.
Thank you, Meredith. Thanks for your
Annabeth.
lovely
Thank
living
you
room.
guys. What a pleasure.
Fun.